both covers the obvious weakness that you're exposed to, where you're just going to get shackled and take a ton of damage, and also kind of attacks a weakness of theirs, which is the fact that Shadow Shaman's a hero that's easily taken down.
5 seconds remaining.
A lot of the time, what you end up seeing during the mid game is that hero like shackling somebody and realizing that the fight is lost, but he just kind of like sacrifices his own body. He's like, I'm gonna stop you guys from dying, but I'm really slow. I'm like 285 base moon speed or 280. Can't remember. It's one of the two. And at that stage, you just have to be the sacrificial lamb. But going back to EG, going with the Mirana, I'm kind of curious as to, is this going to be a core Mirana? And the only reason I say that is because of Elder Titan. So a while ago they changed the spirit, so obviously now it's the magic spirit itself that gives you the magic damage or magic resistance reduction, and then your physical hero is the thing that reduces armor. So what you can do is you can play around that with a Naga, obviously having the Radiance Burn and the Riptide, and plus if you get a core Mirana, you have the Aghanims. So you have like this insane like amount of magical burst potential that you can throw out. And on top of everything else, they're just gonna throw a Pugna in the mix. So this is something, you know, did EG play in the first round?
Yes, they did.
Okay, they did.
Played against.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, and the team didn't do so bad. TNC.
Oh, it was 1-1. That's right.
Yep.
I remember it was 1-1.
Remaining.
Yep.
But you know, clearly EG have a very different game plan from a lot of what we're seeing from the other teams.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see it. EG obviously a fantastic team. A lot of people see them at the very least being able to break top 8. I mean, you would kind of expect that coming in, given the year that they've had so far.
And they've been top 3 the last 3 years, so.
Of course. Who could forget?
I really like the way they set this up. Like, I'm not a fan of Naga Siren whatsoever. Like, I think that hero, since the nerf hit it, like the level 1 cooldown from your Siren.
Song of the Siren.
Song of the Siren, thank you. It's so long, you know, that you can't even like use it as offensively as you used to, like with OG, for example. I think that was exactly the way that you should be running Naga Siren in some of these lineups, is that you should try and promote the Naga Siren to actually win a team fight for you by aggressively using it to set up, you know, the Mirana arrow, etc., etc. It was actually NP. Not OG. NP was the one who actually did that so well. And I feel like this lineup kind of looks like it, right? With the Elder Titan, you've got the ultimate, you've got Mirana Arrow, you've got Pugna Ward into a blast as soon as they wake up. I feel like you can use this aggressively early on to give you a little bit of time, and give you that free team fight, you know, a couple of kills there that can make a lot of difference in the game. Give the Naga Siren a lot more space to be able to continue with her, you know, general Radiance rat build.
I definitely agree with that idea. And also, it's a complete 180 from the series that we saw earlier, where there was just a lack of wave clear on both sides. Like, a lot of those matches you look at and you say, okay, who's actually pushing the wave?
Yeah. This
game, every single one of EG's heroes can kill creeps. And that is just a tremendous amount of passive pressure that they're going to be applying to the lanes all the time. So we're talking about creating this space. You're going to see a lot of either Mirana, Pugna, or Elder Titan. These heroes are all pretty mobile. Elder Titan and Pugna are just fast, straight up. And then you have Mirana, who has an escape mechanism. You got Moonlight. You have a lot of ways of pulling kind of IGV's heroes apart and trying to split them up as much as humanly possible. Where you look at IGV, they still have pretty good wave clear. Their mobility is lacking, I would say, with a DK and a Tidehunter. They're more of the, we're going to set up our siege and we're going to fight there kind of a team. But they can do it at a faster timing. So it's kind of like a race against the clock. The longer the game goes, EG with their heroes are probably going to feel pretty happy with that. And then IGV, on the other hand, they want to hit their mid-game timing. They want to get the tier 1s, like, immediately. Just get those towers off the map if you're playing against Naga.
5 seconds remaining.
All right, Draskell, I want you to put your analysis on the line here.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to do it too.
Oh, boy.
Looking at EG's lineup, because there are so many ways they can run this, I want you to call the positions now and say what they're...
I think it's a Sumail Mirana.
Okay, I agree. I agree with that. Yep.
I think it's support ET and Pugna.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that as well.
Obviously,
and then
safe lane Naga.
Safe lane Naga.
And then Universe's hero is last.
Man, we're in sync, Draskell. We're in sync. I got the same ideas. It could be Elder Titan off lane in this scenario, but
it could be.
I feel like the last pick support is just not where most of the draft meta is right now.
Right.
Very rarely see it. I just saw like Infamous do like a switcheroo where they ran Elder Titan off lane and they picked up a Riki because they were facing a Storm Spirit. I personally, you know, Riki is really good versus Storm Spirit. I still did not feel like it was such a game-changing, especially when you had the last pick.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you want that, you know, mid versus mid match, or don't you want the safe lane countering, you know, whatever? But
that's the one reason why I'm kind of skeptical about the mid Mirana, because it's going up against a DK. That's not a great matchup. It's really, really not.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think the primary reason why they would do it is because getting the level 7 Starstorm up fast kind of plays into what I think they want, which is just this insane wave clear, constant lane pressure all the time, and you're not going to let IGV get to towers. I think that's how they want to play the game. And I think that doing it that way, whereas you could still put Pugna mid, right? It's still fine. Sumail's played it before in the past. He's probably familiar with how the hero works. And then you could just have the roaming Mirana if you want to try to apply lane pressure. But even in that case, I'm not... Like, you arrow somebody on that team, who are you killing? You're going to kill the Tide? You're going to kill the DK?
Yeah, not really.
It's kind of tough. So it's, to me, it's a little bit of how do they want their lineup to function more than what gives them the better lanes.
All right, last pickup here. We're leaning towards the Universe hero. What's really left them? I feel like they need like more solid initiation lockdown. But Earthshaker, Void have already been taken out. Batrider's out of the pool as well. There's like Legion Commander and
they could also just okay. Looks like we're gonna see it. And it's an Necro. All right.
Well, that.
It is Sumail Pugna, yeah, they swapped it.
Yeah,
they swapped it around.
So it's a support Naga.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you that question. How viable do you think support Naga Siren is? Because I don't know about you, I'm not feeling it. I think it's even worse than the core Naga because of the fact that the ultimate, like, you're just not gonna get the same kind of levels as support. So that level 1 Song of Siren nerf hurts you even more.
But I think that their lineup still has the longevity advantage. Like, if the game drags on, Zai will eventually get items, and then you have to worry about the lane pressure, and IGV are pretty much... I would say this is a fairly all-in style of draft. You know, you have insane team fight. You have Ravage, you have Call Down, you have the Darkness utility from Dogfights and the Night Stalker, not Plague Wards, Mass Serpent Wards, and just... You walk as 5, you're just not fighting it. You're just not. Like, it's too hard. You need some kind of pick-off beforehand. And I think in that same note, if you have the Naga Siren, and the Naga Siren gets too pressured in the lane, it's very easy for this type of lineup to collapse.
Yeah.
Where Necrophos, he can still kind of win his lane. We saw that earlier. He can carry the team fight-oriented items. Because push comes to shove, IGV are coming at you this game. They're not going to stop. Like, their lineup is not meant to sit back. It is meant to go. And I think that maybe they felt a little bit skeptical about putting all their eggs in the Naga Siren basket.
Right. That certainly makes sense. The I was a big fan of the Gyrocopter pickup just because it did feel like EG's lineup was going to be pretty slow and pretty exposed to that that very fast-paced carry that we saw so successfully run by CDAC and that playstyle. You know, where you use that carry, you get your farm in, you rotate out of your lane super early, put pressure on the enemy team. And here with this switcheroo, EG now running a Necrophos safe lane. Maybe it'll be able to deal with it a bit better. It'll certainly be able to deal with Tidehunter very well.
Yeah, he doesn't care about that hero at all.
Yeah.
Necro doesn't care about anyone, man. He's so good. He walks...
I was trying to think about it earlier when we were talking about this. I was like, what are the most successful offlane heroes that I've run against Necrophos? And I was
30
like,
seconds to battle.
You know, there's Nyx Assassin, he does the mana burn, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you mana burn him because he gets the right clicks in to be able to eventually get, you know, like he's going to get CS to get the regen, so he's going to counter whatever mana burn that you, even if you keep him away from death pulls somehow, you still have to constantly outlast hit him to prevent the regen.
Yeah, it's really tough. I think probably the best like 1v1 option is Darkseer.
Yeah.
Just because you can push a lane so much harder than he can at the early stages that you can like pull the creeps and get your advantage that way. But yeah, in general, he's just super strong. They are going to be chasing him out of lane here, though.
Definitely a good start. Nothing better than a Night Stalker shoving a carry. I know. Have you seen those plays where they on Dire side they wrap through the and catch as they
go past the bounty, yeah, back to lane.
And you just beat him on, you know. These 4 positions, that's what they're all about. They're all about just threatening some core in the beginning of the game and forcing something bad out of you. Sometimes it's sitting in the mid lane and just zoning him out if you're like a melee mid. Sometimes it's just getting in that early chip damage like they did against the Necrophos, who's now going to be bottom lane since he's going to be trying to follow the Tidehunter around.
They're just looking for the optimal lanes. Like, we kind of figured that the Tidehunter would be matching up against the Necrophos. It's just a matter of where on the map the heroes meet each other. Because IGV clearly don't want the Necro to farm, so they start aggressive. Super not going to be able to get the Shackle there, but I do think that these lanes are still fine for EG. Pugna's got insane hit. He's got 630 attack range. His base damage is solid. Even against a hero such as DK, who is notorious for pretty much never having to go back to base if he doesn't want to, I still feel like in this matchup, Sakata could find some problems.
Sakata went for a pretty interesting build. He went for the early Magic Wand, which kind of makes sense against the constant blast of the Pugna.
He's probably just saying to himself, you know, worst case, I just skill Dragon's Blood at level 3. Yeah. And then I have like the 2 points, and later on when I get my bottle, I can just put the 2 points back to back into Breathe Fire. I've seen it before, it's just not as common.
Yeah. Meanwhile, our Mirana is always going to try and position himself against the Gyrocopter. Shadow Shaman is doing very well for himself thanks to Zai doing a little bit of pulling. Get some CS, and I think that it's the first one, it's like the first level that's hardest for the usually.
Her base damage is just abysmal.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest concern I always had. But if you play it as a core, the cool thing is the creeps, like the large camp, is really close to the lane, so you can just casually arrow the big creep or whatever if you just want the extra experience, and you can take it away from the enemy as well.
Dogfights early ensnare from Zai, and a lot of body. They are going to be able to get the first blood onto Dogfights, getting sumail. An extra lead that he didn't really need already versus the Dragonite. Doing well for himself, 13 and 6 compared to 8 and 2. And you call it the Dress Ball. Second level Dragon Blood, just because he knows he's going to need every drop of that regen he can possibly get. The homing missile going to land on his eye here. Can they actually finish him up? Universe is not going to share that damage. He knows it's too dangerous against Super Shadow Shaman with Shackles, so leaves his buddy support to die. CS in return.
It's kind of interesting going back thinking about the Naga support in this situation, because you think of like these ogres, these Night Stalkers, these really beefy early game come at me bro type of heroes. Yeah. Naga's still got 6 armor. Obviously she doesn't hit as hard, but you can reduce your own armor. Her level 1 nuke still hits for 120. And she has a disable that scales by 1 second per level, which not a lot of heroes can say from a support position. At least if you're not like a Shadow Shaman, for example. And even his, it doesn't scale as well, and it's also a channel. So it's putting yourself at risk. Where the Naga Siren, you net a Night Stalker under the tower 5 seconds, he's dead. So it kind of makes, I think, dogfights a little bit... Okay, arrow coming.
Super didn't see that one coming. He is going to take a lot of damage. Looks like they are going to be able to bring him down. Zai is probably going to have to give up his life for it. Universe is actually going to stay and help tank, and they do manage to get the level 3 onto Zai, which helps him get out the mirror image, but might just allow him to survive until they get the void on the correct one. Slow him down enough. Still, that meant a lot of extra damage that Universe was able to output on both of those heroes. That extra bit of survivability is well played by him. Top lane, Crit does manage to snag the battle rune away from July. One of the best things you could do as an offlaner, right, is just go into that enemy jungle, grab the support's bounty rune, and then go back and grab your own.
Yeah, it's like that, and getting your own pull always feels really nice.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to do with the support movement as well. Like, this game, EG supports have been rather mobile. They've been out and about, so... You can, I think if you're in July in this situation, you're still a little bit scared, but at the same time, you know, you're already level 4. It's only 4 minutes in.
Another one. Super's going to get caught by the ensnare arrow combination again. They are really putting in the work for this off-lane Mirana. A lot of it helps that, you know, the starting setup. They're actually going to get another one here. They don't have the arrow, but they can just get a lot of damage chipped into Paparazzi.
He needs to be careful. Like, if he gets netted again into another arrow and he doesn't use any of his regen, he could just die. I think he realizes this too. He's gonna back off.
Start backing away. The wraparound here looks like the stomp not able to go off the void. Comes out from dogfights, actually stops that channel. Will allow Sakata to get back to safety, and they've got a shrine ready to go. So, pretty efficient use of this one. All 3 heroes needing it desperately.
The more I think about this Naga support, the more it kind of feels perfect for this. So Rocket Barrage really only functions in a situation where you're only hitting 1 target. And the mirror image, you get the extra illusions on top of it. So sure, they die fast, but you're still eating a good chunk of that DPS output.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zai could be in trouble again.
Holds onto the arrow. Universe throws it out. Now he's play by Dogfights. Positions himself between the Mirana and his...
Owning his lane. He is like over a level higher.
Yeah, he is definitely winning this one big time.
And it's not like there's a roaming Mirana. I mean, sure, they killed the Dogfights once when he came mid, but that's not the, that's not the mid player.
Kata. Geniuses win a huge fight around sumail in that mid lane.
That was a disaster. Like, the DK walked into an arrow in the river because they don't have any high ground vision on that side of the river. Like, their ward is kind of south of the tower. So they fought into potential fog high ground. They dropped a sentry because they really want to kill sumail, but the problem is Pugna's just so fast.
Yeah.
He just walks away. And once he gets out of sentry range, he realizes he's fine. They get the turnaround. Universe manages to secure himself a couple of kills, and this whole time, you know, Arteezy's top, he's just like, whatever. Just hitting some creeps. Not a big deal. Didn't even need a TP.
Yeah, if they're worried about sumail, Necrophos is also one of these, kind of like the exact same hero in many ways, right? It's a squishy intelligence hero that you could just blow up with a lot of magic damage most of the time, but you give him the space to be able to get his farm in the laning phase, he just becomes kind of unstoppable in a lot of situations.
I'm kind of concerned for IGV right now because we talked to middle lane.
Oh, look at that blast! The extra magic damage from Decrepify. Sakata just gets blown up now. He does manage to get off a decent amount of heal. They're still going to go for it. Oh, the Ravage goes down.
My God.
Doesn't manage to catch him. EG. They're going to try again. Looks like the blast now. Moonlight Shadow's going to be good enough. They came in, tried to catch him with the gyrocopter, but this is just more and more space. More space for Mirana. Universe and Arteezy with love and life in the sidelines.
So they get the tower. They are able to force a TP reaction. Ravage completely misses. They're going to go for Paparazzi here. Not sure if they can actually kill them. But sumail is just playing fearless. He doesn't have anything in this game that he is legitimately scared of.
Yeah.
And that is a real big problem, because when the Pugna feels like he can just walk up to your tower at any point in time and just throw out the blast, that's the game that he wants to play.
Arteezy is actually going to be trying to stat up a little bit here. Rod of Atos. That change in Rod of Atos, opening up the double bracers. Ooh, I know there are so many supports that see a lot of value in that and a lot of intelligence core as well.
I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. You don't feel bad about buying 2 bracers. You know what I mean?
You don't. That's true.
It's just so stat efficient. The only
if you had the extra slots for it, an agility hero would be like, I'm down for double bracers.
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly. It's just a matter of, like, the inventory space is what becomes the precious commodity at that point.
Yeah. Oh, nice play. Sumail sets it up and just get the trap by into the arrow, and IGV just falling apart here. It seems they seem to have no ideas about how to be able to stop EG. I mean, look at Zai right now. He's just chilling out in the mid lane. Super far position. All of EG members, like every single one of them, are positioned super forward onto IGV side of the map because they just don't really feel much threat.
I think a lot of it just goes back to the laning phase and seeing how well sumail did, which is not really much of a surprise on its own. Sakata gonna go for the TP here. Should be okay. But the bottom lane, they killed the Shadow Shaman twice in a 2v3.
Yeah.
And sure, you know, Zai traded his life or whatever, but Universe was farming. He's got 37 CS. The mid DK's only got 39. He's got more CS than the Gyro. And the supports, because they had to be in the bottom lane, the Shadow Shaman is still level 4. It's 10.5 minutes in. That is very underleveled for a support. Granted, I don't think he's used the tome yet, or I don't know if he bought it, or maybe they gave it to Dogfights, but I think, yeah, okay, he just bought it now. So he'll be around level 5, which means he's like a minute or 2 off what he wants to be. Later Serpent Words means you have no tower pressure right now. So they need to buy a little bit more time for those ultimates, wait for the next time that the Tide has mana, because July is a little bit low at the moment, and they have to try to do something. They can't let the game keep running this course.
Now they've got the level 10 on Pugna, which gives him a huge boost in survivability, 225 extra HP. He also has the Veil of Discord.
He's got a regen cap. My God, that is the perfect room for this type of game.
Certainly is. He didn't even care about taking tower shots. Regen to work around with. Good. Even getting some chip damage onto the tier 3s. Meanwhile, IGV, they still have kind of this slower lineup because they have a Tidehunter. Tidehunter naturally is more of a farming offlaner than most others. He's still trying to get his mech.
Well, their lineup isn't supposed to be slow. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, you don't pick safe lane Gyro and a DK mid to not you know, take objectives at the very least. You bring your gyro and your DK to one lane. You say, okay, fight us or the tower's dead. That's kind of what you want. In July, getting a bit low there from the blast and the life drain. But I'm unsure as to how much time they actually have.
Well,
not much.
It's looking like maybe, what, 4 or 5 blasts?
Yeah, probably.
They're finally going to make the initiation onto him. They do have the Ravage, but they're not going to try for it. Crit covers Sumail's tracks there. But this is still, like, commitment coming out from IGV that is resulting in 0 kills and really not letting up the pressure whatsoever.
Man.
They are going to be able to get the arrow onto Sakata. Sumail sits in the back, drains his life away. They do manage to catch Universe on the side here with a silence, but what a clap. And now the setup here. Crit throws out that burst splitter, lit off the sleep. The Ravage goes off to be able to protect them. Maybe they can turn this around. But the Gyrocopter ultimate dropping down. It just can't do enough. There is not enough damage on the table to kill any of the heroes of Evil Geniuses. EG just 4 versus 5ing basically, winning.
I was gonna say, can we talk about how Arteezy's still not there?
I mean, this could literally be almost any other pro player in the game and be winning. Arteezy really hasn't had to do anything, man. He's played Necrophos against one hero and just kind of done laning phase things.
I mean, what is his saying for the boys? I think the boys are doing it for him this game.
Yeah, they really are.
That was not even a bad Ravage from Injuly. That's like the most depressing part, I think, for IGV is they had a really good counter Ravage, but the Shadow Shaman still wasn't 6. So there's no follow-up damage. Sure, the cooldown's there, got Zai really low, didn't quite finish him off, and then EG heal up, you know, they go for the Shrine, they come back, and they just want more.
Oh my god, now it's an Arcane Rune for Sumail.
He's got his Ether, too.
Oh no. Alright, bye-bye Tier 3. IGV they gotta cook up a plan fast. Like, if they want to stop this, they actually have to go and, like, smoke and do something, but they don't have Dragon Eye ultimate, and they don't have Ravage.
Yeah, no Ravage is the worst one, because EG realize, hey, we have, you know, at least a minute to be able to walk down to that lane and hit the tower.
Could be longer if they actually get this kill on Paparazzi. Fortunately, he does manage to sidestep that arrow, but it may not be enough to save him. So Arteezy finally comes in, the team fight contribution. Now the Rod of Atos, still not enough, but
they do have massive different words now. Tower's gonna drop.
Down, and let's just keep going.
Oh, they're gonna go for a wraparound. This is a nice idea.
Supports. See if they can catch the back line. Run inside, but Sakata's already dead. This is the problem with the wraparound. If you are actually the ones getting initiated on, now you don't have your supporting crew. They're going in, but they don't have any cores. It's just Super sitting there on top of Arteezy, who's going to turn around and get the Reaper scythed off. Actually doesn't manage to get the kill, though. And as a result, lacking a little bit in the regen factor. Rod of Atos and a clap. Damn. That is a dinosaur down and a disconnect to IGV. You might as well just tap out. That's the way I'm looking at this.
This is
just
rough.
go ahead and say, whoops, rage quit, GG guys.
This is
next.
So there's one, well, maybe more than one, but there's one thing in particular that I kind of wanted to talk about, I guess, since we have the pause. Looks like there will be a reconnect. Most likely going to see the continuation of the siege in bottom lane. Not sure if IGV can really do anything about this. They have no ults. Just none. The Master Different Wards are dropped behind. They're going to probably just have to watch these Cedaraks die. But the idea, this is a pure magical damage lineup.
Yeah.
They don't have a right click. And normally these heroes are playing around their high base armors. They're playing around their physical damage mitigation. EG just say, fine. You want to pick these tanky early game heroes? You're going to lose before you can even buy a DK.
Arrow comes in. Paparazzi gets blown to bits from afar. EG don't even have to step past the racks to take that kill. That's a full lane by 15 minutes.
This has been impressive, to say the least. Like, the way they handled the early game, the rotations coming in from Zai, he gets the kill on dogfights in middle lane, kills the Night Stalker, helps Sumail get ahead. They go bottom, they kill the Shadow Shaman 2 times. Sure, trades, but, you know, getting a kill in a 2v3 and you're trading even, you're happy with that every day of the week. And top lane is a Tide Hunter versus an Necrophos. No one wants to play that lane if you're Tide Hunter. It just seems like EG managed to get the advantage in every single way. And this is kind of the result, is you don't see 14k net worth leads in a 15-minute game unless there has been a serious problem.
Yeah.
Illusion.
I mean, even that fight mid, it was just a disaster. They lose one hero, the DK walks into an arrow, then he dies. Like, Universe ends up walking away with like what, 3 or 4 kills, I think, during that engagement.
Beating on
I mean, this kind of
Dire's
makes me
tower.
think back to, what was it, TI4? We had that push meta going on, and everything was so fragile.
Where did Radiant's middle tower go?
Like, the first couple of team fights you took, you could not afford any mistakes, because if you did mess up, which I think IGV.
I'll let it go, don't worry.
Sakata is going to be blown up by the Reaper's Scythe. He gets taken down, and to go for the sleep combination. Look at IGV. They are all grouped up for this one. Crit, set out the sleep, hits 4. Ravage goes down, tries to stop some of the damage. Just not going to be enough because Sumail's sitting in the back. He'll take a couple of kills for himself. Triple there, and that's it. IGV, they'll call it finally. Not at 15 minutes when the first lane of Rax went down, but at 16 and a half, the second lane of Rax would have gone down. Unbelievable pace that Evil Geniuses just brought to this first game.
That draft was nuts. I am really a huge fan. We said it at the beginning when we saw the opening of the Naga Siren. We thought it might potentially be a core. They decide later on into the draft to swap it out for a support. We knew that Zai played the hero, obviously, in the past, and it worked wonders. The great thing about picking it in this particular lineup, too, is the hero is quite flexible. It's just that we don't see support Naga that much because you typically need another hero that you're going to lane with that offers a lot of kill potential.
Yeah.
And in this case, it was the Mirana. Seems like a perfect pairing, you know, instead of like a Vayne, you have a Naga instead. So I think that the pure magical damage in conjunction with how good their laning phase was, just because